it was a leap of faith for us to say, we're ready to hire this employee. Business is going to be okay. It's going to be able to continue to pay their salary. These are all real fears. I mean, like that they exist. So we didn't do it too soon. I will say that. I think there's a difference between being lean and being ready. So know your business and then really decide, am I doing this because out of necessity, or am I doing this out of maybe laziness a little bit, right? Like I'm just going to throw all these people in place because then I don't have to do it. No, be lean. You should do it because also you don't even know what you're hiring for if you haven't done it.
Well, hi there, and welcome to Side Hustle Hero, the podcast that inspires action and helps you grow your side hustle into a thriving income stream. I'm your host, Joan Posivy. Ever wondered what it takes to get a side hustle product into a big box store? Where would you even start? Well, today's guest knows. In late 2019, Juliana VanLanen and her best friend Samantha started a small backyard Etsy shop, selling homemade window boxes and refurbished playhouses. Today, their playhouses are sold in over 110 retail locations, including Target, Walmart, Sam's Club, Wayfair, and Saks Fifth Avenue. In this part one, Juliana dives into how they scaled from Etsy to big box success. And their products aren't the cheapest. They are a luxury brand. And she recounts the major hurdles of scaling their first year and how they tackled them. Plus, between Juliana and Samantha, they juggle not only a thriving business, but also 8 kids. So naturally, I had to ask her about balancing it all. And in part 2, Juliana will take us behind the scenes of the Walmart Open Call, an event where small business owners pitch directly to their buyers, how to land a spot, and what you need to have in place before pitching to the big retailers. But now, let's jump into part 1 of my conversation with the co-founder of Two Mama Bees, Juliana VanLanen. Welcome, Juliana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, what was happening in your Etsy shop when you thought, we need to move off this platform and do our own thing? How did that come about?
You know, I think it really was that the market just kind of took off. It was technically actually still pre-COVID, but at the time when we did paint our playhouse and launch our playhouse onto Etsy, we had almost 1,000 sales. So really the market told us that it was time to full scale this and go 2 feet in.
Got it. So when you started this as an Etsy shop, you weren't just using that platform to test it, or did you have any plans for taking it off the platform eventually?
Originally, not at all. So when we first launched our Etsy shop, we were only building window boxes and it was supposed to be like a side hustle. It's just supposed to be a weekend thing where, we would make a little bit of extra money for our families. It was myself and my best friend. So it was an opportunity for us to spend time together. We at the time had 5 kids. Now we have 8. But really, I mean, now we lean heavy into it as our market research years because it's a different platform. Etsy's like you really do communicate directly with your customers on such like a different scale, a more intimate scale. They're definitely more willing to tell you exactly what they like and what they hate. And the messages are in real time. You're messaging back and forth, much like what it is on Airbnb. So same concept where you're communicating directly. We're not going filtered through an email and getting filtered through customer service. You're really talking directly to the owner. So I think that was super beneficial for us and a learning experience to go off of to say, here is really what the market is saying. And having 1,000 customers in a year, that's pretty good traction for us to go off of. I mean, like you can't even make focus groups that big when you're that early.
So are you completely off the platform now?
Completely off because we're not technically, even though we are still, I guess if we really wanted to go down to the nitty gritty, we are still homemade because we're manufactured by Amish artisans. But in the technical sense, we're not like a backyard homemade brand. We're scaled up.
And speaking of that scale, let's talk about some of the challenges of making that leap. What was the biggest hurdle for you?
I would say technically the biggest hurdle for us was really staying true to our brand like core promises. So our first run, we sourced from overseas and we did all the check mark. Oh my gosh, we did all our homework. We had a boots on the ground. We did all of the back end, like where we actually had the people go out and a totally separate company come and do quality control checks before they even loaded up our containers. And the quality was there. Everything was tested. It was tested by Intertech, which is one of the biggest testing facilities that you can utilize. It's the only one that Target accepts. So everything passed the testing, but it still wasn't the consistent quality that we wanted to provide to our consumers. And it was never going to be, there was no longevity to it. I think that there's a brand that people are familiar with, and this is public knowledge, but KidCraft actually just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And part of the reason why they had to file a Chapter 11 bankruptcy is because they have a price point that they've set that obviously they can't sustain. It's not a sustainable price point, but they've created, the expectation of quality that they can't really raise that price point. So we didn't want to end up in that same boat. So in doing so, we moved all of our manufacturing back to America in year one. It was a huge challenge. You're talking about we had to get every single product retested. We had to bring every single product to a new manufacturing team and have them source everything that we needed. It was a lot. Year one was a trying year for us, and one that I think a lot of people probably would not make it through. It really does speak to our tenacity and resilience as entrepreneurs, because Samantha and myself had our hands full. I mean, it was a big shift.
So all the products that were made in year one in China, were you able to sell those?
We did sell them. And then what we actually ended up doing is that if anybody had an issue with any parts of it or pieces itself, we'd send them a brand new one. We'd replace the entire thing, or we would replace pieces. Roofs seemed to be the biggest issue that people ran into. So we spent a lot of money replacing roofs. But, it really there was longevity in the fact that if we were able to give the quality of product that we wanted to give, we wanted to make sure that we were doing that so that the customer feedback reflected the brand that we wanted to provide to the public.
And so the window boxes that you were selling on Etsy and eventually the playhouses you were also selling on Etsy, they were made locally?
So we hand built the window boxes. That's how we started. It was just like cedar window boxes that Samantha and myself would hand build in Samantha's backyard is where we started. And then the playhouses were our now competitors' playhouses, and we would hand paint them, rebox them, mark them up for the cost of the painting, include window boxes, and resell them.
I see. Okay. Just by the way, when you said 8 kids, is that between the two families, you and Samantha's?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I have 3 and she has 5. We have one set. So our girls are a day apart, and we had them in 2019 while we were kind of in the thick of running and operating 2 Marlies.
Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about time management then at some point. Yeah. Turning to sales, what was working for you in terms of getting word out about your brand and about your products?
So I think one is just the fact that clearly there was a void in the market. For us to be able to make that amount of sales on just Etsy alone, I mean, there was something that was lacking there, and we were able to fulfill it and in a better way, right?
Yes.
We were also then at that point when we were selling our own brand, we're doing it in America, we're doing it handcrafted, they're heirloom quality. Just to give you a couple of quick stats, like our assembly process is much easier. So our Rain 2-story playhouse takes 1.5 to 2 hours to assemble. Our competitors of the same size are 8 to 10 hours. So we eliminated a ton of the pain points. The weight of our Rain 2-story is almost 535 pounds. Our competitors of the same size is 250 pounds. That's based on just the quality of the wood alone.
Yeah.
So, I think really what set us apart were, like I said, those market research years where we listened to the consumers. We had these intimate conversations with our customers to find out, what did you hate? What did you like? What do you love? What would you love to see more of? How could we improve this product? And then we went to the drawing board and we kind of made it all happen, right? So I say the majority of our sales, the majority of the traction that we were able to encompass in those early years was due to the fact that, one, we were able to find that void in the market. And then we created brand authenticity. We really stayed true to who we wanted to be.
Yeah.
We developed a brand name and reputation for ourselves very early on. We leaned heavy on what we were doing different than our competitors. So we didn't just say, here's the product, hope you like it. No, there was a lot of conversations. There was a lot of like, here's 8,000 emails about why we're better, and we were persistent. That is for sure. And that's what got our foot in the door. Now we're in over 110 retailers, including Target, Sam's Club, Walmart, Wayfair. And that's pretty much unheard of we're just about to hit year 3. So usually you're emailing back and forth for a good 3 years before you even get a little bit of your toe in the door.
Well, how did you do that? How did you build the credibility and brand strength to land those deals for them to take you seriously?
Yeah, again, I think it really was that we just drove from the fact that here's the quality of our product. Samples were sent, we leaned heavy on allowing the product to sell itself because we knew that what we were building not only was beautiful, we also have been very lucky that we've been able to win quite a few awards. Right now, we're a 12-time award-winning, 13-time award-winning manufacturing company. That changes. Again, we're 2 moms. And so we hit the ground running. That is for sure. Right. So we knew we needed to get our name out there. We had some great opportunities. We were in Vogue. That was huge for us. So
how did you land a spot in Vogue?
Vogue came to us.
Really?
Yeah.
Through your social media, they heard about you, or?
Well, I would say Vogue probably found us through FAO Schwarz, and FAO Schwarz found us just because we were in some higher end online retail stores, the Tot in Maisonette. The Tot is no longer in existence. Maisonette is, and it's an incredible brand to work with. Actually, we're one of their best sellers. They were looking for, high-end toys. If you're looking for a luxury swing set, like, we're your brand. We've now actually won 6 awards alone just based on the luxury product space. We actually just won Toy of the Year too.
Congratulations, Juliana, to you and Samantha. You mentioned FAO Schwarz, and for those people who aren't familiar, they are a higher end toy store in New York.
They're iconic. I always say, I'm like, does anybody remember Big when he dances on the piano? That is FAO Schwarz. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, FAO Schwarz is still around. And it's like, that's our generation, right? We're like, yes, it's still there.
So give us an example then of the price point of, say, your best seller, what it retails for.
So our best seller right now, it is our rate 2-story playhouse, and it retails for $4,500. Our London that we just launched, it actually was up for pre-sale and it officially launched this week. It is at $2,450, and that London is the one that won Toy of the Year by Best Products.
Right. And it sounds like that was intentional on your part, is going after that higher end market so that you could put into the quality that you wanted to see in the product.
I think so. Yeah. I think when we did our first launch, we knew that our price points, we weren't the kid craft. We're not making products that only cost $200. It would be impossible with the quality of wood that we're utilizing. We spend more on just the wood alone, right? But at the same time, like, what I always try to say and stress to people is it's an investment regardless, right? If you're buying a swing set, you're planning on spending at least $1,000. If you're going to spend anywhere between $2,500 to $4,000, it's a lot of money. Nobody questions that.
Yes.
But what we're building in our heirloom pieces that last for generational use. So your children are playing on the swing set that you're going to one day watch your grandchildren play on. So now, really, where's the investment? You see the longevity in it. You spend the money up front, and you're going to have a quality product that's going to last. It's not going to deteriorate and rot. And 2 years later, you're scared to let them go out there because everything's shaking. No, but that also, there's a lot of work behind creating that market awareness, because no other product really exists like that on the market, unless you're talking about customized pieces, which those cost upwards of at least, like $20,000 to $30,000, at least not in the wood space.
Right. And so now you're manufacturing within the United States. And when the customer receives it, do they have to put it together or is it already all assembled and painted and good to go?
So it's all painted exactly the way that you would see it, but there is assembly required. But like I said, so our Rain 2-story alone, it's a 1.5 hour build time,
Right.
tops 2 hours. So almost the entire unit comes pre-assembled.
Going from an Etsy shop to being in over 110 stores is a massive scale up. How did you manage this growth internally? Like at some point it was just you and Samantha, but now you're looking at a team and day-to-day operations and third-party manufacturing. How did you handle that?
I think, we tried to take everything as organic as we possibly could. So we did, like you said, you're right. It was just us. It was just us scaling, growing, working on the business. And then as things kind of came about where we felt like there is somebody better to do this role. And that's really where, as a CEO, constantly be checking your own ego, right? Because
Mm.
I am not good at social media. I'm lucky if I can repost something that my marketing team posts, right? I mean,
Me too.
I couldn't even figure out how to use my headphones today. So it's not my strong suit, but I have a marketing team in place now, and they are really good at what they do. The other part about it is that making sure that who you surround yourself with, the employees that you surround yourself with and bring into your company, trust the fact that if they're good at what they're doing, they're going to actually be paying for themselves, especially marketing the most, right? Marketing and sales. If you hire the right people for that position, then you should be profiting off the fact that they exist in your company.
Right.
So it took us a little while. Samantha and myself, being moms, we're both a bit frugal. We're like, we err on the side of caution a lot of times.
Yep.
And so it was a leap of faith for us to say, we're ready to hire this employee. Business is going to be okay. It's going to be able to continue to pay their salary. These are all real fears. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like that they exist. So we didn't do it too soon. I will say that. I think there's a difference between being lean and being ready. So know your business and then really decide, am I doing this because out of necessity or am I doing this out of maybe laziness a little bit, right? Like I'm just
Okay.
going to throw all these people in place
Yeah.
because then I don't have to do it. No, be lean. You should do it because
Yeah.
also you don't even know what you're hiring for if you haven't
Exactly.
done it. So we didn't bring our marketing team full on in-house at first either. We were still like they were a subcontractor.
Right.
So we scaled them in. We slowly started to, as we saw the growth, we would give them more tasks. We would ask for additional things that we have a full director of marketing and she has a team behind her. But yeah, I think I would say scale appropriately, do as much as you can for as long as you can. You'll recognize when the
Yes.
business needs somebody better in place. Trust me, it
Yeah.
will become painfully obvious to the fact that you're like, okay, time for me to step out.
Right. So you did start off hiring, contracting out, and then eventually, as the need and the business grew, you can go
Yeah.
with full-on employees.
Even with our CFO, we had a fractional CFO
Mm-hmm.
for the majority of it. Honestly, I want to say within the last couple of months just came on full time. So it was
Right.
completely fractional. If
Right.
you need it, why are you paying for it every single day? That's another
Yes.
thing. And there are tons of them that are very like, it's going to be great. They're going to grow with you. You're going to be able to keep that same lean mentality moving forward. So yeah, I think people kind of make both mistakes. They either go to scale too big too fast and put a whole bunch of people in roles that you cannot financially afford early
Yeah.
on and you don't even need them yet. They're not big enough to that you need them full time. So that's one, they either do that or their ego gets in the way and they think that they can do it all, and then the growth trajectory of the company doesn't follow along suit because they're not putting people in roles that they should be there for to help grow that side, especially sales and marketing. I think that's one that
Yeah.
I see a lot of CEOs that I know that are like, oh, I need somebody for that. And I'm like, yeah, we all do. Like,
Yes.
you're going to be working in your business instead of on your business. And that's not how your business grows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So you need that in place. Is there a mentor or advisory panel working in the background with you?
We have some great mentors. We have we have some incredible people in our lives. Samantha and I are really good at putting ourselves in rooms full of people that are a lot smarter than us. So, and then we just talk to all of them, especially me.
Nice.
I'll be like, will you be my friend?
Yeah.
By friends, I mean, will you give me free advice?
That's right. Yes. And in most cases, they want to help you, right?
Yes.
And if they
100%.
don't, you just go next and go on to the next person.
Yes. And same now, I feel like people come to me a lot, and I'm
Of
like,
course.
no, I'll help you. Like, here's 30 minutes of my time. Like, I can tell you what I did. I'm not like going to gatekeep anything. Like,
Yes.
as long as you don't go and try to build some white and black playhouses, I'm all ears.
Awesome. Well, did you use external funding to scale the business, or did you bootstrap it along the way?
We bootstrapped the entire company. We
Okay.
still have not taken on any investors. We're looking though now.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. Call me.
Well, given you touched on this before when you said that there was 8 kids involved, and I think you were pregnant at the time during part of this as well. Given what your schedule looks like now, how have you managed to balance business growth with your personal life, particularly as a parent running a fast-growing company?
I think I always tell people everything comes in seasons, even with your kids. Like right now, I have an 18-year-old and I have a 5-year-old, and everything is a totally different season. When they're an infant, you're all hands on deck. You can't take your eyes off for a second. That baby is attached to you like a third limb, right? But like, as your business, like same thing with your business, it comes in seasons. When Sam and I were hand painting the window, like the playhouses in the warehouse, we were all hands on deck. We were there for 14 to 16 hours a day. We couldn't look away for a single second. We didn't have a nanny in place, a babysitter, if you will. Like it was just us. We had employees, but we also had to be there to manage the employees, right? So, and that was the infancy stage of our business. And if you really look at everything in your life as a different season, then you're able to really be like, right now, I'm in my infants and I'm going to scale and I'm going to get us to our toddler years. And I'm going to be able to take a little bit of a step back. And it's a sacrifice for everybody. My kids, I say all the time, like every award, everything we win, everything I do, the whole family wins because everybody has sacrificed for me to get to Mama Bees to where it is today. I know that. Like their time is the most valuable thing that I have with them and vice versa. All they want from me is my time, and I work a lot. I mean, it is what it is. So I wouldn't say that I have the most healthy balance. I won't sit here on my soapbox and be like, I figured it all out. Like, no, I didn't. It's still every day is a learning curve to it, and a lot more gets put on my plate. And I'm not great at saying no to things at work, and I'm not great at saying no to things with my kids either. I just am probably doing so much that my health will one day fail or something. I have no idea. But, I just take it all as a season. And the season that my business is in now, I would say is a toddler. And that feels better than when it was an infant. And so I am loving this season too. And I am trucking through it. And, I bring my kids into as much of it as humanly possible, as much as they want to be a part of it. They go to our manufacturing facilities, they visit, they're on set when we have like video stuff. They're incorporated in everything. Our products are named after them. So
Really?
if you buy one of our products, you actually get like a little headshot a couple weeks later with an about me bio about the child that you bought that it's named after. So with like their favorite color and what do they love about their mom. So
naturally.
Yeah, they're involved. They're involved. And I'm lucky enough that, between me and Samantha, we're raising 6 girls, and we have created some strong women. And so we're proud of what we're going to be sending out into this world to hopefully conquer and do the same thing that we are. And I hope that we're setting an example for them. And I feel confident that we are, and continuing to build upon that too. But they're proud of us. And that's what makes it all worth it.
And that, I love seeing the example of that strong female role model for them. And you just kind of slipped it in there, but that photo that they get and that other information, I mean, that's an example of how you built that community and built that up. It's those little touches that really make a difference and create that connection with the customer. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
If you could start this journey over again, what's something that you would do differently?
You know, I wanted like I always want to like say what first comes to mind, but I wouldn't. I was gonna say like maybe I would have just started in America with manufacturing because that was rough. That was a hard transition. But I wouldn't because I probably would have then always thought, hey, what if we had done it in China? I wonder how much more our profit, our bottom line would be. And so I think I wouldn't change a single thing, not at this moment, not at this moment in time. I'm not saying there weren't a ton of mistakes along the way because there were. Oh my gosh, we have made them all. If is a mistake that exists, Samantha and I have done it. We've probably done it twice just to make sure you're doing it wrong.
Just to make sure I got that lesson.
Yeah, exactly. We really wanted to drive it home. But we even when we did bring our first, they're called 40-foot high queues. Those are the really big shipping containers. When we brought them over, it was during COVID. We were originally quoted $5,000 per container. We ended up paying $36,000 per container. So
are you kidding me? Oh my God.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. So, and we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because the inventory was sitting there and we were not prepped to continue painting playhouses. I mean, KitCraft was sold out of everything and that's who we were buying to replenish. So we had to bite the bullet and take the hit. And we did. We took that hit and it was a hard one. But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't even change that because what a lesson. What a lesson. What a story, for us to look back on and say, hey, we made it through it. We toughed it through it. And again, we're still completely bootstrapped. So it wasn't a hard enough hit to knock us down. That's for sure. It made us stumble, but we got back up and we were okay.
And as painful it is in the moment and to go through, as you scale the business, the numbers get larger. Okay, I've learned that lesson now. Instead of paying $5,000, we're paying 36, but now 10 times that, I know what to do better.
Exactly. That's where I think like the resilience comes in. They always say like, real CEOs, I mean, I always say this too. I go, no matter what happens, it's my fault. If we fail, it's my fault. If we succeed, it's my fault. Like I can't place the blame on anybody else but me. Like where I don't look or where I don't turn that rock over and make sure that we've done things the right way, that's my fault. So I take full accountability for whatever way this business runs, and I'm in it daily. So I should be taking accountability because I'm the one who should be paying attention to all of those things. And a lot of the things I wouldn't be able to pay attention to had I not learned those hard lessons.
Yes.
So to look at them as failures, I would say, I don't think that's probably a disservice to you and your future of the brand. I mean, you have to look at it as a lesson, find a way to spin it in your own head so that you can delusionally keep moving forward.
I always look at it, we have our successes and we have our learning experiences.
There we go. Yes.
Right?
I got a lot in this bucket.
Yeah, you got a lot of learning experiences, girl. Okay, well, which speaks to your success. What an inspiring story of resilience and resourcefulness. Imagine budgeting for $5,000 for a shipping container, only to find out it's actually going to cost $36,000. When faced with that unexpected hurdle, Juliana and Samantha didn't back down. They adapted and they moved forward. It's a perfect reminder. Even when something feels insurmountable, there's always a way through. Here's a quick exercise for you. Think back to a time in your life when you faced a major challenge that you weren't sure that you could overcome. But you did, and you came out stronger on the other side. The next time your side hustle throws you a curveball, remember that experience, that you did overcome the problem or the adversity. Let it reassure you that you are capable. You can find a way over or around or straight through whatever's blocking your path, whatever is the issue. I faced a major challenge at a personal development retreat years ago. We took on tough physical challenges daily, but the standout for me was walking barefoot across a very long path of burning coals. It took a lot of mental preparation, but I did it and came out the other end relatively unscathed. And that feeling of accomplishment has stayed with me. Whenever I face a new obstacle, I remind myself, Joan, you walked on fire. You can handle this. And whatever challenge you face, you too can handle it. Take that fire into your side hustle journey and keep moving forward. Well, that's a wrap for today. Be sure to check out part 2 with Juliana, where she takes us behind the scenes of the Walmart open call and guides us on how and where to connect with the big box buyers and what you need to have in place before making your pitch. In this episode description, you'll find links to the 2 Mama Bees website, my book, The Way Success Works, and the full show notes, which live at our website, sidehustlehero.com. And get this, Juliana has generously offered a 20% discount off the products on their website. Just use the code HERO20 at checkout. That's 20% off at 2mamabees.com. If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, it would be so appreciated if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and please subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here to help them start or grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.